You are in the middle of nowhere, or you simply don't have access to a bunch of training equipment, but you still want to have a complete full body flexibility routine. What should you do? These are the 10 best exercises you want to use to give your whole body a complete stretch. Let's go. The first exercise you want to do is the Nighty Stretch. You sit down on the floor, you spread your knees apart and your feet apart, feet in line with your knees. Now, hands behind your glutes, and now you tilt your body forward. Drive one knee in and the other knee out, reach the bottom, keep your trunk as tilted as forward as possible. Now remain here for a couple of seconds. Start with the first knee. So first knee goes up here, you wait for the other knee to come up, you spread your knees as wide as possible, then you lift the other knee as well and go on the other side like this. You want to look in front of you at all times, and you do want to create pressure on your back hip. You want to repeat this kind of dynamic movement for 20 reps. At all times, you want to remember you do want to spread your knees wide apart as much as possible. After 20 reps, you're ready to go for the second exercise. For this second exercise, you want to go into a lunge position. Now you start with your trunk up and upright torso, hands on top of your front knee. Now belly in, flatten your lower back as much as possible. Start with your hips high. Now you want to create a straight line here. This best stretches your hip flexors. Now relax your back leg, and from here you do want to drive your hips toward your front heel. Remain here for a couple of seconds, come back up. You want to repeat this kind of movement for 10 reps. On the last one, you want to remain here for 30 seconds. If that is easy, you can move your front foot forwards, lifting your front toe up like this. Now it's the same, hands on top of your front knee. I drive the hips down, I relax as much as possible here, but I don't want to arch. I want to keep my belly in, my back flat. I do want to find depth here. Dynamic first, remaining in the bottom position for a couple of seconds at each rep, and then on the last one, I relax into the stretch for another 30 seconds. And this is the lunge. Now, what about the third exercise? Let's go. Third exercise for your hamstrings flexibility. You want to start in this position here. Hips high, the back leg is straight. Now you put one hand on the floor and you bend the front leg like this. Now you wrap your front knee with your arm like this. You keep your chest in contact with the knee and you grab the other elbow with your hand. Now from here, you basically want to extend your front leg as much as possible, keeping your back straight and pushing your head in front of you. So you want to go and stop wherever you feel the stretch. It doesn't matter if you can completely straighten your front leg, all right? So you go and you stop. Now you remain here for 20 breaths, trying every 5 breaths to get deeper into the stretch. After 20 breaths, both hands on the floor, and you want to do it dynamically. So you keep your trunk as close as possible to your front leg, but now you extend the leg as much as possible, come back. Extend the leg as much as possible, come back. You want to repeat this for 10 reps, and on the final one, you extend and you remain as extended as possible for the last 10 breaths. So you want to remain here, 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 here. Whew. Stop. Now it's time for the fourth exercise for your adductors. Now, can you see how I'm moving my legs on the floor? I have one knee on the floor with the foot on the same line as the knee, like this. Now I straighten my other leg and I externally rotate it. I turn my foot up. Now, look at this. This foot has to be on the same line as this knee, all right? Now I gently fold down with my trunk and I want to move my hips back and forth. So I go back with my glutes as much as possible. I keep that leg straight and I literally want to drive my hips back, and then I want to do the reverse. I do want to move my hips forward and repeat this kind of movement for 10 reps. And I gently want to keep my straight leg, of course, straight, and the other knee bent at 90 degrees. Now after 10 reps, I do want to stop in the middle. That means that I have my hips in line with my foot and with my knee, and I want to remain here for 10 breaths. Now it's really important that throughout the stretch you arch your back. So you do want to keep an arched back and you tilt your body forward a little bit. So you do want to, as you can see, I have my chest in front of my legs a little bit and I'm leaning forward a little with my body. And of course, you do want to relax with your hands on the floor, trying to slide with that foot out at all times to intensify the stretch here on your adductors. Okay, so that's it, our adductor stretch. Now, what about a little bit of front split? I know front split are not that comfortable without any kind of yoga blocks under your hips, but front splits are one of the best exercises you can do to stretch your entire lower body. What you do want to do here is this. You want to keep your front leg straight and your back leg internally rotated. So you do want to turn your back knee and your back foot down towards the floor. Now from here, you keep an upright torso position and you support yourself with your hands, all right? So you do want to put a little bit of pressure on your hands, relax your back hip. It's not about the front hip. You don't want to go down with your front hip like this, tilting your body to the side. You do want to push this hip, the back hip, toward the floor to obtain the best front split position. Relax in the stretch, and you can stay here for 20 breaths per side, and guess what? You can repeat on both sides for the best results. Ooh. Once the front splits are done, what do you say about a little bit of shoulder flexibility? Let's go. To stretch your shoulders, we do want to use the downward dog position. So you want to put your hands on the floor, arms straight, shrug your shoulders up as much as possible, and keep your feet in line with your hands. Now, if the exercise is intense, not on your shoulders, but on your lower body, you can keep your knee bent. From here, you do want to drive your armpits towards your legs. You have a couple of ways you can do it. The first one is with your spine straight. So you can basically arch your spine like this, or you can also keep your spine straight. You do want to start with a straight spine. So you do want to round your back, keep your chest in as much as possible. Of course, shrug those shoulders up as much as possible, and open through the armpits. So as you can see, I'm driving the armpits back. 10 breaths with your spine straight. Now look at the difference. 10 breaths with your spine arched as much as possible. So you want to arch your spine, open through the chest, open your back, 10 breaths again. And now come back into a straight spine position, 10 breaths again in this position here. Ooh. Excellent for your shoulder flexibility. Remember, if you bend your legs, this is going to be a little easier on your legs and more effective on your shoulders. But since we want to keep a complete stretch, you can, of course, keep your legs straight to have a more thorough stretch throughout the whole body. Now, let's get into shoulder extension. Now, shoulder extension is all about your chest and front shoulder flexibility. What you do want to do is this. You do want to turn your hands out, fingers pointing out. From here, elbows are straight, arms are straight, and you want to pull your shoulders together and open your chest out. Now, from here, you do want to drive your hips away from your hands as much as possible until you start feeling the stretch on your chest and shoulder muscles. Now, you can remain here for 10 breaths. This is the first variation. After 10 breaths, of course, keeping your shoulders glued together, your shoulder blades glued together behind you and your chest out. You want to drive your hips up and remain in the stable position for another 10 breaths to stretch, deeply stretch your chest muscles and the front part of your shoulders. Woo. Now, what about your abs and your thoracic spine? Let's do the Sphinx. The Sphinx is one of the best exercises you can do to stretch your abdominal muscles and your thoracic spine. Now, what you want to do, hands on the floor, arms externally rotated and straight. Now, you don't want to sink in the shoulders, push your shoulders away from the floor. Now, from here, you do want to open through your chest and abdominal area, drive your chin toward the floor and your head toward your feet. That's kind of the idea you do want to have. If you want to make it harder, you can go on top of your toes and straighten your knees. This way you're gonna feel the stretch more. From here, we're gonna remain 10 breaths. Then shift into the seated shoulder opener. Another 10 breaths. and then again into a Sphinx. Open your chest out, open your abdominals, keep your shoulders not toward your ears, down, away from the floor. And this is how you want to stretch your abdominals and thoracic area. Now let's finish with some pike position, which is a wonderful stretch you want to use to complete this routine and to stretch your whole back and lower body, the posterior chain in particular. Now, legs straight, you want to move your head up, straighten your back, and drive your trunk toward your legs as much as possible. You may want to stop here, 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 or here, depending on your flexibility level. Remember, you can grab your shins, you can grab your toes, you can grab your heels, and pull yourself into the stretch. Try not to curve your back like this. You don't want to drive your head down. You want to drive your head forward. This is the secret. And you want to pull your trunk toward the legs, not the head, the trunk, okay? 10 breaths here, and then we go into the inverted pike position. So you want to lie on your back like this, bring your feet up and move your hips up. You do want to put your hands behind your glutes in order to lift your hips up, and you want to stop wherever you can. Now you unroll the spine, you move the hips as high as possible until you can find the floor with your feet. You stop here for 10 breaths. The more you can lift your hips up, the better. 10 breaths, and then you slowly unroll. And we're basically done. But now you want to remember to download my app on your phone, where you can find all the flexibility exercises you want to use to increase your flexibility level. Also remember that the routine we have been seeing so far can be repeated every day to bring your flexibility levels up. If you enjoyed this video, leave a thumb up and a comment down below if you have any questions or doubts. Thank you so much for staying with me, and see you in the next video. Bye. Hey, if you want to increase your flexibility, master your hamstrings, and have a more capable body in general, you can download my Flexibility Guy app on your phone. Inside this wonderful and simple app, you're gonna find all the workouts, exercises, and video lessons you can follow to take yourself to the next level. You can check it out following the link in the description right now.